The Democratic field for Wisconsin's U.S. Senate race is getting even bigger. Democratic State Senator Chris Larson of Milwaukee says he will run to take on Republican incumbent Ron Johnson, who hasn't announced his plans for 2022. Larson joins a field that already includes Milwaukee Bucks executive Alex Lasry, Outagamie County executive Tom Nelson, State Treasurer Sarah Godlewski, and our next guest, Dr. Jillian Bettino, a radiologist from Wausau. We appreciate you being on the show today, and I'm curious, you're a radiologist. When did you start considering politics?
So I've been considering jumping into this race and politics in general for maybe about 5 or 6 years now. I'm just really noticing that we needed to see some changes and a little more action and representation, particularly by women, I think, in politics. So it's been a little while now.
And why exactly are you running? What do you think? What's your platform? What's the biggest issue to you?
So as a physician, naturally, the thing that precipitated my interest and the thing that I continue to see as central is healthcare. I'm also very interested in promoting climate change solutions as a healthcare initiative, but also as an economy and job growth initiative for Wisconsin and for our country. And certainly over the last year or two, it's become very clear to me that we need to move forward with immigration justice as well. And I think these all sort of fit together to make a healthy, broad platform for our campaign.
Being a doctor, has the pandemic influenced at all what you would do if you do end up being elected?
So I think that representing science and medicine in politics is very important. Obviously, I'm 50 years old. I have 51 years old now, and I've got 6 kids and adult children. And so I have a broad range of experiences, but the pandemic certainly has contributed to how we need to discuss public health, I believe, within politics and really address accessibility to healthcare. Make sure that our jobs are not defining the availability of our health care. We saw a lot of problems with people losing their jobs and losing their health care. So I think, yes, it definitely has kind of changed the conversation surrounding the platform and what needs to be done more broadly.
This is quickly becoming already a crowded field on the Democratic side. Other people in the race include the state treasurer, a state senator, a Bucks senior vice president. Those are just to name a few. I mean, these people have name recognition, and you really don't yet. How do you stand out? How do you get elected?
Well, a lot of hard work. I'm no stranger to that, but we really need to get out there and kind of run a local race in every municipality. So we've already been out. Yesterday, we were at the AFL-CIO meeting in Madison, talking with union folks there. And we've been out in rural areas here in the central, northern and western part of the state, speaking with farmers on immigration policy, which is very central and nice bipartisan place to work from. And we are opening up our first out of Wausau headquarters, likely in the Milwaukee area.
What would you say is your lane in the primary, especially considering people continue to jump in here?
Well, I really believe that in general, there is needed a fresh perspective. And I think that there are a couple of things that I bring to the table that are really helpful for everyone in the state and more broadly. First of all, being a woman physician, I would be the first ever woman physician in the Senate. I think a woman best advocates for women, and obviously with Roe v. Wade and other very important aggressive concerns from conservatives in this country regarding reproductive rights, that we really do need somebody who's well-versed in women's rights and who is also well-versed in public health. So that's one place. I also believe that as a mother and an advocate for my kids, and my family is diverse, I really believe that helps bring the conversation and at a personal level and helps me engage at a personal level with all sorts of people. So I also believe that as a physician, there's a certain level of respect that I have for every patient that I engage with, and certainly for every community member and every citizen, every person living in this country that is before me. And I intend to bring that level of respect, no matter who people voted for in 2016 and 2020. I will find a way to engage with people, meet them where they are, so that we can solve problems and move them forward, unlike Ron Johnson, who stayed up all night trying to keep things from moving forward. So that's how I want to push.
Dr. Jillian Bettino, thank you.
Thank you very much.
More Democrats could join the field. Brookfield native and nonprofit leader Stephen Olikara announced an exploratory committee and statewide listening tour. Our editorial partner, WisPolitics, also reports that Lieutenant Governor Mandela Barnes is eyeing a Senate bid. You could stay on top of the developments in this race on the election blog at WisPolitics.com. Coming up, Paul Ryan on the future of the Republican Party.